Hi. So, for those who don't know, this past Thursday, so this episode is coming out on Sunday. This past Thursday was my husband's 30th birthday. So, I thought I'd bring you all in to help us celebrate a little bit and to share a little bit of how I prepared to help him celebrate the day. Unfortunately, Thursday night, he did still have to go into work. So, we did just a nice dinner and dessert at home with us and the dogs. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. It shows a little bit of just like chaotic experience of me making a ice cream cake for the first time for him to celebrate. And I did end up deciding to go with the tried and true biscuits and gravy, which is one of his favorite meals. I'm not a huge fan of it, so I really like making it for him for special events to show him that I will make things for him that I personally don't love, but that's okay. So I hope you enjoy. Happy birthday, Kegan. I have some very exciting news. So today is actually my husband's 30th birthday, so it's a big one. And I'm going to try to make him a homemade ice cream cake. So let's get started. So I have all of my ingredients out, and I'm going to need 2 bowls. So I'm going to take my large and medium. And to start, we need to go ahead and make the chocolate cake base. So while I'm getting this set up, I'm going to preheat the oven. So the recipe calls for 350, but if you've been on our channel for a bit, you know our oven is behind. So it's about 25 degrees off. So I'm going to move it up to 375, and that should be pretty close to 350. All right. Now that I so nicely laid stuff out, I'm going to move it all out of my way. And I'm going to go ahead and start with the wet ingredients, I think. One of the things we're going to need is a half a cup of boiling water. So I went ahead and have this recipe. Since I'm making an ice cream cake, I only need the bottom layer. So I don't need as much as a full cake would warrant. But for the boiling water, I'm going to use our coffee maker. It has a water setting, and so that'll give me some nice hot water. So I'm going to do that first. So that's going to go ahead and heat up my water for me, and I was able to set it to exactly how much I need, which is perfect. So then the rest that we're going to need is a half a cup of milk. It called for whole milk, but right now I have homemade oat milk in the fridge, so we're going to hope that's okay. Take a moment to admire this container, which I thrifted and am obsessed with. So give it a nice shake, and then we're just going to do that half cup. And that. And we need 1 egg. I'm going to go ahead, add that in, and then I'm going to toss the shell into our compost. And we need a 1/4 cup of vegetable oil. Just a little drop left. And half a tablespoon of vanilla. You know what? We're gonna be lazy. I'm gonna fill my my full teaspoon halfway because that was more accessible. And also, you can't go wrong with a little extra vanilla. And then the last wet ingredient is just going to be our water, which just finished, so perfect timing. Okay, so we have our warmed up water. It's filled to a half a cup. And I can go ahead and add that. And I'm just going to go ahead and whisk this up to combine everything. The egg is running away from me. So this was my first time ever trying a ice cream cake. We actually went, exciting news, we went to the electric co-op yesterday to hook up the electricity on the property because the house isn't anywhere near ready, but there's a garage up there that's existing. And so we wanted to get the electricity turned on. So we have that up there, as well as we're getting almost done with the process of setting up a water system for our trees, which I can't wait to show you. And so we got that all set up yesterday, and I was chit-chatting with the lady while setting up the service. And I told her, because I had to show her mine and Kegan's licenses since we're both on the property deed. And she was like, "Oh, it's a big birthday tomorrow." Asked if we were doing anything, very friendly. And I mentioned, he has to work tonight, so I'm not really doing anything, something nice at home, just, a nice dinner, but I'm making him an ice cream cake. And she goes, "Oh, you're brave." So, but I like to go in it with confidence and hoping it'll work out, thinking it'll work out. And if nothing else, Kagan's not a picky eater, so I'd have to mess up pretty badly for him to not like it. So there's that. But now we're going to get started with our dry ingredients. So we need 1 cup flour. Back in action with my pet peeve that my canister does not fit 1 cup. So now I have to try to not make a mess while I dump a cup worth of flour in here. I'm literally holding my breath. So we got about a cup. I'm going to toss that in. And then I'm not in the clear yet because I get to do the same thing with a cup of sugar. I feel like sugar always comes out faster too. I don't know if that makes it harder or easier. Okay, we got our cup of sugar. Put that off to the side, and then we're going to use a 1/4 cup of baking cocoa powder. Okay. This one's nice. I can fit it in the container. Okay. And now we need our teaspoon. Oh no. Good thing I'm only baking for us. It is clean. That being said, So for baking powder and baking soda, it's going to be a 3/4 teaspoon. So I don't get to use my nice, there's a name for it, whatever this metal piece is to get the exact amount. We're going to do about 3/4. So that was the baking powder. Next up, we have baking soda. I'll just eyeball it. All the actual bakers are probably screaming at me. And then a 1/4 teaspoon of salt, which I already have this one, so I'm just going to guesstimate. That's too much. About a 1/4 teaspoon. Plop that in. And that's it. So now I'm just going to combine all of this. Mix it all up. I'm actually so surprised this recipe doesn't call for butter. That feels like a cake ingredient. And then I'm going to combine the two. And the recipe did say that this was going to be a runny batter. So it is quite liquidy. I don't know if you can see that very well. I have my overhead shot. I'll try to show better. I'm literally double checking the recipe because it said runny, but this is wet. that's all the stuff. I guess it's a trust the process. Next up, I don't remember where I put my pants. Right. I found them. I have my 2 cake pans. So the one I'm going to use for this, I'm going to go ahead and spray just so nothing sticks to it. We're really going to trust the process on this. But everything looks combined, hopefully. Give it a few more mixes for good luck. It smells good. It smells very chocolatey. And we're going to go ahead and pour it in. All right. We got our very liquidy mix. I can't really tip it, so I'll show you the overhead, and we're just going to wait for that to finish heating up. But next up, we can do the ice cream layer. We can go ahead. I'm going to put plastic wrap over this, and then I'll put the ice cream in it, put another layer of plastic wrap, and kind of smush everything down to make it nice and level and flat. And then this will go in the freezer. Still trying to figure out what I want to make him for his birthday dinner. I asked him if he was craving anything, and he's so sweet. He said, no, just make whatever. Like, you're already making the ice cream cake. That's, enough work. But it's his 30th birthday. We have to do something nice. So usually my go-to, he loves biscuits and gravy, which is not my cup of tea, but it's not about me. It's his birthday. So that's always a good option. So I could make that, but I made that for Valentine's Day, and that's kind of my go-to. So I don't know if that makes it not special because I've done it for a bunch of other events. If I should do something else. So we're still thinking on that. I am also today, so this is coming up. His birthday is, pause. Okay, so we're ready. So we're going to very carefully, and it is just about 350. I checked our thermometer, which you can't see. Our thermometer in the oven, and it's about 350. So we guessed well on that. So I'm going to very carefully put this in here without spilling any. And then we're going to let that bake for 35 minutes. And then we'll do the toothpick test and make sure it comes out clear. So fingers crossed. All right, back to the ice cream. Okay. But yeah, so Kegan's birthday is April 2nd. And of course, this year that's the Thursday before Easter. So we have a jam-packed weekend with the holidays and plans with family and things like that. Which is why between that and his work schedule, his big birthday celebration, we're going to do when we have a little more time, things aren't so crazy and you don't have holiday traffic. Let's see how. So this is actually pretty soft. So I'm just going to go ahead and start just scooping it in. And see how level we can get this. So we're going to use the entire carton. And I'm probably, trigger warning, I'm probably going to end up using my hands. They are clean. I did wash them. But if that skeeves you out, it probably is coming. Okay. Put that off to the side. Do a little taste test. It's good ice cream. Take off my ring, look back the hair. I'm so sorry. This does feel like the best way to get it pretty flat, though. It is cold, which duh, it's ice cream. Man, that's cold. Okay, we gotta warm my hands up. It is looking pretty flat though. So I think now I'll take a regular spoon and just zhuzh it around and kind of flatten. And that looks pretty good. Okay. Perk to making the cake. So now I'm gonna go ahead and take another layer of plastic wrap. Almost drop it in the cake. Smush it down and wrap it around, and then we're going to toss this in the freezer so that it can really harden up. So let's do that. And surprisingly, I have a spot for it today because usually this is filled very high. Gotta tip it a bit. That's okay. And the door closes. So we're gonna let that freeze. We're gonna let our chocolate layer bake. And then the only thing left is gonna be to make the homemade whipped cream frosting and zhuzh it up a little bit with, I got some, I think I'm gonna use some melted peanut butter to make some peanut butter swirls. I have some hot fudge that I'm gonna add to it, and of course I have black sparkly icing to write the cheesy millennial death to your 20s. And then when it's time to present the cake, I also have hopefully that's the right way. I have 30th birthday candles as well. So hopefully it'll look real cute. I'm going to try to at least get a photo. I don't think I'm going to film us cutting the cake and stuff because it's his birthday, so I don't want him to have to worry about being on camera or anything, just us celebrate, but I'll try to at least get a photo so you all can see the final product. Are we ready to see how my runny batter came out? Which the recipe said it was supposed to be, so let's hold out hope. Excuse me. I don't think you could see him. Teddy was standing in front of the oven. It looks promising. All right, this is what we're looking like. So I'm just gonna go ahead and use my little poker to see if it's cooked all the way through. So it should come out clean, which it does. So there we go. Have faith in the process. It looks good. So now we need to let this cool for 15 minutes before, turn that off, for 15 minutes before we go and combine it with the ice cream cake. So I think I'm going to try, hopefully this is a mistake. Hopefully I don't break the cake, but I'm going to try to get it out onto the wire so it'll cool faster and more evenly. I think it may have stuck to our pan. So I'm going to try to loosen that up with a knife. And you guys saw I sprayed it, so. This cake does look so good. It looks very Sorry if you hate this word, but it does look very moist and like spongy, which is going to be so good. But we shall see. Oh, I felt something flop. Looks like it's hanging on by one side. Okay, not too bad. Not too bad. Put that there. So upside down, it's not the prettiest thing in the world, but that's okay because we're just going to put ice cream on top. So I'm going to let that cool for 15 minutes. Once that's cool and we can start playing around with it, I'm going to be putting the hot fudge layer, put the ice cream on top, put more fudge on all of it, and then we can start making the heavy cream, whipped cream frosting to go on top. So be back in 15. Okay, I think we're going to be brave and try to move on to the next step to get this cake ready. So for this, I'm just going to grab a plate to transfer this to. Do it this way. Not too shabby. We did get the lines cut in, but I think that'll be okay. And see, it looks much better this way. Okay, so I have hot fudge, which I'm going to do a layer of before the ice cream. But I think I also want to do some peanut butter. So I'm going to dish this and just melt it so it'll be easier to spread. And I don't really have the rest of this. I'm just kind of making up in terms of like what I think will taste good. So I'm just going to take a big glob of peanut butter. I don't know if you can hear them. The dogs just came running. That part can go back. Sorry, boys. No peanut butter for you. Okay, so hopefully this works and actually melts it. Some. Do 30 seconds to start. Okay, let's see what we got. Oh yeah, much easier to spread. So I think I'm just going to take this and spread a layer. I really hope he likes this and it comes out as good as I think it will. Gotta have that confidence. Let me know in the comments if I make my concentrating face. Kegan tells me that when I'm really focused, I like stick my tongue out and I just make a weird face. So if you ever see that, you know that's when I'm locked in. And it's okay if it's messy. You know, we're going to put frosting over the whole thing. And the taste is what matters the most. Okay, so we got a nice layer of peanut butter. And now I want to make sure we add our hot fudge, which actually I'm also going to, it's glass, so I can put it in the microwave. I'm going to nuke that for a little bit too, so it'll be easier to spread. Just kind of plop some out. And spread this around too. I shouldn't have used the spoon to start spreading this because I'm definitely going to need more. And now I can't dip this in the hot fudge container. This is why I'm always doing dishes. I get ahead of myself and I don't think. But we learn. This looks kind of cool. So this is where we're at. We have our chocolate cake, layer of peanut butter, layer of hot fudge. We're now going to check on the ice cream layer and see if that's ready to place on here. So I just pulled this from the freezer. It does feel nice and hard. So let's see if we can get this on top. So the reason we use the plastic wrap is so hopefully I can just kind of pull this out like that. And now we pull apart the sides a little bit and just put that on top like so. I love when things come together. So now we're going to go ahead, put this back in the freezer so the whole thing can kind of freeze together. And while it's doing that, I'm going to go ahead and make the whipped frosting to cover the whole thing in. And then all we have left is to decorate. Okay, it is time to make our last ingredient for my husband's birthday ice cream cake. And this is going to be the whipped topping frosting. So for this, I have my mixer with the whisk attachment. You can also use a handheld mixer or just a typical whisk by hand. So get this started. For this, we're only going to need 3 ingredients: a pint of heavy whipping cream, 3 tablespoons of powdered sugar, and 2 teaspoons of vanilla. So I'm just going to go mix everything together. So this is a pint container, so I can just pour the whole thing in. There we go. And then we need 3 tablespoons of powdered sugar. I've been doing a lot of baking cooking today, so I only have a half tablespoon that's clean. So I'm just going to go ahead and fill it 6 times. And I'm going to make this hole a little bigger because I'm not pouring out powdered sugar. That's not going to end well. Okay. And 6. So now we have the heavy whipping cream, the powdered sugar, and the only thing that's left is 2 teaspoons of vanilla. And I only have a half teaspoon, so that just means fill it 4 times. 4. This is basically empty, so I'm just going to put the last drizzle in because you can always use more vanilla. So now that this is all mixed together, the recipe said to mix it until it starts to whip up and peaks start to form. And once the peaks start to form, then I'm going to switch to my handheld whisk to finish it up because it said make sure not to overmix. It'll start to curdle, which we don't want for this particular recipe. So let's get mixing. Those are some big packages. I'm going to take you guys on a field trip to see this. I think it's stuff Kegan ordered for our water system because I don't know all the bits and bobs that he needed. But I'm going to try to bring them in and see if you can see what they look like. They're literally marked heavy, so I don't know if I can even carry them. And as a fun side note, look what I found on the porch. He's seen better days. This was the first toy I got Teddy for Christmas when Kegan and I started dating, and he's been slowly losing appendages. All right. So I let it mix past initial peaks forming, as you can see, but it looks perfect. So this is what we have. And honestly, I don't even think I need to whisk it more. I think this is ready to frost. So I'm going to put my mixer off to the side, get our cake back out. Actually, first I'm going to prep. I think I want to do peanut butter drizzle, and I'm going to put more fudge on top. So I'm going to prep that stuff just so that the cake is out of the freezer for as little time as possible, because it is ice cream cake. So it will start melting once it's not in the freezer. All right, we do have some meltage. It's frozen now, but it must have been melting a little bit before it got in. Let's try to do this as fast as we can. So I'm just going to take our whipping and give it some nice coverage. And I can see it's already giving. So it might be a little bit of a lopsided cake, but hopefully it will taste good. The stress is on. Let's try to do our peanut butter drizzles as fast as we can. It will not be aesthetic, and that's okay. I'm for sure making a mess of the counter, but all in the name of art, you know. Okay, I think for the fudge, I'm gonna do little drops of it, like around the edge. Like that, and hopefully have it be legible. Final result, really melted. Let's get it in the freezer. All right, it's in. We for sure made a mess. It isn't the most aesthetic cake, but hopefully it firms up really well over the next several hours in the freezer, and hopefully it tastes good. So stay tuned. I'll show you a final photo when we have the candles and everything on, because obviously I'll add those later. But thanks for making it with me.